here we're going to look at triad number 4, where we write each quotient in the form a plus bi. So remember, we're using complex conjugates. Now, hopefully I gave myself enough room. In part A, right away, what I recognize is that everything is divisible by 2. So right away, I'm going to reduce everything. So I'm going to say 40 over 1 minus 3i. It's just going to give me smaller numbers to work with. It'll make my life a bit easier. Now, to simplify this, remember, we don't want an imaginary part in the denominator. So I'm going to multiply by the denominator's complex conjugate, which in this case would be 1 plus 3i. All right, and when multiplying, I'm going to write this on the next line. Again, hopefully I have enough space for this. We're going to distribute that top piece, so this 40 will get distributed. So we get 40 plus 120i over, and now we're going to use the FOIL method on our denominator. So I have 1 plus 3i minus 3i minus 9i squared. Let's check that. Yep, we're good there. My two middle terms are going to cancel one another out. So I have 40 plus 120i over, keeps happening here, sorry, 1 minus 9 times negative 1. We're going to change that I squared to a negative 1. So we have 40 plus 120i, just give ourselves a little line here, over 1 plus 9. 40, let's write equal signs here. 40 plus 120i over 1 plus 9 is 10. That makes the math pretty easy for us. This one did start out looking a little messy, but these all reduce pretty nicely for us. You can separate them into two fractions and then reduce, or you can reduce to start. I'm going to divide everything by 10. So I get 4 plus 12i, and that would be it. We are done. All right, it's in a plus bi form. You could have, let's say optionally, you could have written this, that's a terrible arrow, as 40 over 10 plus 120i over 10, and then you would see that that would reduce a little bit easier or more clearly. It's an extra step, but you get the same answer. So if you want to separate and then reduce them, you can, or you can reduce them right from the start. Either method works. In part B, nice thing, I can't reduce anything right away, so that means I have smaller numbers for this one, which is good. And we're going to multiply by the conjugate. Now, pretty important here, don't change that negative 1. That stays the same. We're going to make it negative 2i. So negative 1 minus 2i. It's complex conjugate. Now, we've got a lot of distribution here, so do take your time with this. Be careful of your signs. So we have negative 4 minus 8i plus 3i, and then plus 6i squared. Check that. So negative 4, negative 8, positive 3, positive 6i squared. Good. All right, the denominator, we have a positive 1 plus 2i minus 2i minus 4i squared. All right. As is what is supposed to happen, those middle terms are going to cancel one another out. Now we have a lot of cleaning up to do here. The numerator will have negative 4 minus 5i, what's going on here, plus 6 times negative 1 over 1 minus 4 times negative 1. Remember, we're changing these I squareds here are becoming negative 1s. All right, let's keep going. Negative 4 minus 5i minus 6 over 1 plus 4. We're going to combine our like terms. The numerator would be negative 10 minus 5i over 5. I'm going to rewrite this as two fractions, so negative 10 over 5 minus 5i over 5. And this is the opposite of what I did in part A. Part A, I simplified them first. Part B, I've just decided to split them up. I want to show you that either method will work. So we get, when we reduce these, negative 2 minus I. And that is our solution. It's in a plus bi form, and we are done. These sometimes take up a bit of space. I mean, clearly we see this here. It's just a matter of multiplying and combining like terms. These are methods or processes that you already know how to do. The only thing you have to really be careful of is your signs. All right, the vast majority of the mistakes made on these problems are just using the wrong signs, whether it's positives or negatives. And as long as you're careful with that and you take your time and be patient with these, check your work throughout the process with each step, make sure things line up and match up. And if you do that, you should be okay.